Director of Prison Services in the Gambia testified before the country's Truth Commission that prisons were used to punish political opponents under former President Jammeh. South Sudan's Deputy Interior Minister has resigned due to slow implementation of the 2018 peace deal. South Africa has launched anti-racism campaign in solidarity with protesters in America after killing of George Floyd. This and more coming on The World Today. Hello, this is Africa TV and you're watching the World Today News Bulletin. I am Amadou Kante. Many thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. Now, the director of the Gambia Prison Services has said that the former government under Yahya Jammeh has been bent on using prisons as punishment for opposition figures. The prison chief made this disclosure during his testimony before the Gambia's TRC on the extent of the systematic human right in the cells. The testimony alleged the absence of any form of program to uplift the life of the prisoner. Details of that in this report.
The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission on Monday resumed from the COVID-19 break, going straight into the institutionalized human rights violation arrested in the uncomfortable conditions of the prisons in the Gambia. The Director General of the Gambia Prison Service, Ansumana Mane, told the Commission on Monday that although prisoners deserve respect, there was never a policy to consider making the inmate better persons. He observed that the period from 1994 to January 2017, there was no such programs to help the inmates in personal development, despite the idea being sold to the prison department in several occasions.
It wasn't like that.
Why do you say that?
Program ne tigeto min sad na ko isa sugindi wala kafa ko ni programme pour ka inmate sol mako elom pour ni funjida sini so me se keno famma ko elati a programme ote ngeno,
because there was no such program which you can associate with that, which you can say that this is a program which is intended to assist the inmates so that when they leave they will become independent people.
Adunga kalamuda wato menambe commissioner of administration yala.
I can recall while I was commissioner of administration,
institution do be ka fay Insight Training Center.
There is an institution called Insight Training Center.
Sinyajama ekana former director ika approach.
On many occasions, they approached my former director. They wanted to bring in programs which will help to empower the inmates. But this program, until I left, I do not think it ever took place.
In the testimony of Mr. Mane, the Gambian prisons were used as tools to punish political opponents, a situation of which the former president named the prisons as five-star hotels for the wrong reason.
We also saw civilians in the midst. We saw many popular businessmen there. We also saw many opposition members who are not in line with the government. We also saw religious leaders being brought in.
And which institutions within the government would normally bring these kinds of detainees to the prisons?
Mansakunda la doku bunda jumale dunka wo kasolan ka fasongulu wo mo fasongulu nati kana kasola.
Mostly, they would say that they come from the NIA.
On the admission of prisoners to the cell, the former director noted that there was no staff who had the courage to request for formalities from agents of the then National Intelligence Agency under the leadership of Yahya Jammeh. It was tradition, he noted out, for people to be escorted by the NIA officers without any proof of arrest warrant or legitimate authority.
Come and inform us that such and such prisoner was being brought and you should admit them. Thereafter, you will not have the courage to refuse to do that.
Who is the former director you are referring to?
Ite be nyin director men maten jumala mu woti men be jenung.
Doko ke director Jamal Kolo bari David Kolira watola.
I worked under many directors, but this was during the tenure of David Colley.
This David Colley, where is he from?
In David Colley botami.
I don't know where he hails from, but he has a compound in Kanilai.
According to the 2019 country reports on human rights practices on prison and detention center condition, the Gambia's prisons are harsh and potentially life-threatening due to the shortage of food, access to potable water, poor ventilations, and lighting. The conditions of the prisons are highlighted for being overcrowded and occurrence of physical abuse coupled with inadequate sanitary government and medical care. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Aissatou Tamba.
Now, the 74th National Situation Report of the coronavirus has confirmed 2 additional cases of the virus in the Gambia on Monday, bringing the total number of cases since March to 28. Of these cases, 1 emanated from NBR. Both victims were in quarantine on account of a recent travel history. The country currently has 125 people on quarantine with a total testing of 1,970. 665 people completed quarantine with 789 contact traced, while 310 people completed follow-ups. And from that development of the situation in the coronavirus in the Gambia, next we head to South Africa, because the South African government and its partners have joined the fray in solidarity with protesters in the United States on calling on the killing of George Floyd, a black American, by white police officers in Minneapolis. Citizens and civil society organizations have also endorsed the government's initiative to launch an anti-racism campaign in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. The NC ruling government has also issued a statement urging the security forces to exercise restraint in dealing with the unfolding situation in America. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The death of a U.S. citizen, George Floyd, at the hands of the police has not only sparked widespread protests in the United States, but in other countries as well. Here in South Africa, it has even inspired the governing African National Congress and its alliance partners to launch an anti-racism campaign. All that in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. The campaign includes a call for all South Africans to wear black every Friday for at least 3 weeks to show solidarity in the fight against racism. Ordinary South African citizens and civil organizations have also declared their support to the Black Lives Matter movement. A large number of Not in My Name protesters gathered here at the United States Embassy in Pretoria in support of the protests currently ongoing in the US. The march also calls to an end to recurring racism here in South Africa and an end to police and security force brutality.
The significance of us coming to the embassy is to stand in solidarity with the international community and identify with the Black Lives Matter movement. Should we not receive justice for our people, we will proceed with intensifying our mass mobilization on the ground and make sure that we'll come back stronger.
South Africa's government also released a statement calling on all in America, especially security forces, to exercise maximum restraint in responding to the anger and frustration felt by many of its citizens.
And from the report there in South Africa, we come back home because Global Properties has donated sanitary materials to the Gambia Red Cross Society to help cope the spread of the coronavirus in the Gambia. The sanitary equipment include face masks and hand sanitizers and temperature scanner. The Red Cross has during this pandemic been at the mercy of the public for awareness of the virus. Here is more details of that in this report.
The Gambia Red Cross Society has had its public role to prevent the spread of coronavirus in the country, supported by Global Properties Real Estate Agency. The voluntary organization has, since the outbreak of the novel coronavirus in December last year, put in measures to raise public awareness through media programs and community outreach on the dangers and nature of the coronavirus. As a member of the National COVID-19 Emergency Response Team, the Red Cross provides advisory services on demography roadmaps in reaching out to different communities for COVID-19 engagements. Last week, the real estate developer provided for the public Gambian-made face masks and hand sanitizers, which the Red Cross will distribute to the exact area in highly need within the country. The electronic scan thermometers are also expected to reinforce health workers in frontline to expose early signals of the virus in local communities. Njilan Fai took the honor to tune the partnership between her organization and the Gambia Red Cross.
To follow the World Health Organization guidelines to avoid getting COVID-19 by continuing to wash your hands and maintaining social distance and also wearing your mask. So again, on behalf of Global Properties, we're happy to be here today.
Abdullah Fai, the program manager of the Gambia Red Cross Society, expressed gratitude on the timely donation and the importance of the support.
People need to know coronavirus is here and it is not going now. People need to understand that. And therefore it is important for us to strengthen our preventive measures, in every level of our society. And getting hand sanitizers is very much important, because we know hand washing should be done continuously. You cannot say, okay, I have washed my hand in the morning, I cannot wash it in the afternoon. That should not be the case. We have to continue washing our hands. Where we do not have water to wash our hands properly, hand sanitizers also are very much important.
Since the mid of March, the Gambia has recorded 26 cases of the coronavirus, of which 21 have successfully been treated. The ongoing state of public emergency following proclamations by the President is expected to elapse later this week, after which more advocacy may be required than ever before to keep the coronavirus in its narrow holes in the country. For iAfrica TV News, this is Auma Kalu.
And from that report there, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining update stories. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin on iAfrica TV, and now to the rest of the story. Now, following consultations with the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission on Monday resumed public hearings with pledge that the Commission would continue to be victim-centered. The chairman of the TRC noted that although public expectations are very high, the Commission is focused enough to cater for the need of every victim, given the available opportunity at its disposal. From the COVID-19 break, public hearings are expected to continue until the last week of November, when the focus will shift towards the development of final report. Details of that in this report.
The chairman of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission has said that the Truth-Seeking Commission will remain a victim-centered institution because the Commission will not have come into existence without the victims. Dr. Lamin J. Sise was speaking during the opening of the 14th session of the TRRC's public hearings following a lengthy break due to the outbreak of COVID-19. He assured that the victims could not and will not be forgotten, as their narratives are symbolic of the experiences endured by many who could not go forward to testify before the Commission.
We are aware that the public is keenly interested in the Commission's work on reparations. As of now, the TRRC continues to offer interim reparations in the form of livelihood support, medical and educational assistance, and employment opportunities to victims. The Victim Support Unit is also working closely with the Reparations Summer Committee to offer continued support to the victims currently in Turkey for medical treatment. Meanwhile, the Commission is doing all it can to ensure that work on the reparations rules and regulations is expedited and that monetary reparations are rolled out as soon as possible.
During the session, the Commission will deal with road attacks by former President Yahya Jammeh's motorcade and conditions at the Gambia's prisons. More than 200 witnesses have appeared before the Commission since the commencement of the public hearings in 2017.
The witnesses included 54 women, 40 alleged perpetrators, and adversely mentioned persons, as well as some expert witnesses. 25 Gambian diaspora witnesses had also testified via video link.
The Truth-Seeking Commission was launched in July 2017 to investigate human rights violations during the tenure of Gambia's exiled former President Yahya Jammeh. For iAfrica News, I am Julden Suare.
And from the report there on the resumption of the hearings at the TRRC, next we head to Ghana now, because worshippers in Ghana have been given the green light to reopen places of worship as authorities ease COVID-19 restrictions. Due to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, the government suspended all forms of public gatherings as part of measures to cope the spread of the disease. Both Muslims and Christians have welcomed the move, but others are still concerned about the measures to contain the spread of the virus. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Members of the Christ Apostolic Church in Accra are taking safety precautions to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. This is the first Sunday service in the church after nearly 3 months when such religious gatherings were banned because of an outbreak of the coronavirus in Ghana.
We are looking up to God. He has power over everything. So we will be praying to him, and we are praying to him that if we have not gotten the vaccines or the medicine that can cure coronavirus, in his own wisdom, he grants us the wisdom and then give us medicine or solution to COVID-19.
On Friday, mosques were opened to Muslims for the congregational prayer, Juma. Worshippers had their temperatures taken and were all made to sanitize their hands and wear face masks before entering the mosque.
We assume that everybody who comes here doesn't know the rules. That's why we place our men from the entrance up to the door of the mosque. So the men are here to help, and anybody who proves difficult would ask our men to drive him and then say he should go home.
Although the government has now eased restrictions, only 100 people are allowed to worship at a time. However, there are still fears about the spread of the coronavirus, which is why this church had fewer than 100 people. While this church has opened for worshippers, there are many others that have decided to remain shut. Their leaders say it's still risky to allow people in because compliance with safety measures could prove difficult. So they are using social media platforms like Facebook to deliver sermons to their followers, but some prefer to go to the church or the mosque to worship.
I am very happy to join the service at church. I never thought the government would lift the ban, so we begin to hold congregational service again.
We thought that we would have to meet or congregate during the month of Ramadan. Unfortunately, we couldn't. So now that the mosques have been opened, I think it's a great opportunity for us to worship in congregation, observing the social distancing and all the protocols that we're supposed to do.
While people can now hold congregational prayers, it could take some time for many to adjust to all the safety precautions, and this could lead to further spread of COVID-19. But the government has warned it will close down churches and mosques that fail to ensure strict compliance with the safety measures.
And from the report there in Ghana, finally, we head to South Sudan because the son of the late John Garang, a South Sudan revolutionary leader, has resigned as Deputy Interior Minister amid the lack of implementation of the peace deal agreement. His resignation is considered as a sign of discontent on the implementation process of the 2018 peace deal, despite his appointment in March. Mabrior Grand accused the president for lack of political will in giving peace a chance. Here's more details of that in this report.
Mabrior Garang is a son to the late John Garang, the South Sudan revolutionary leader and founder of the current ruling party. He says he quit because of insecurity in the country and lack of political will to implement the peace agreement. In a resignation letter addressed to his leader, Dr. Riek Machar, Mabrior accuses President Kiir of having no intention to implement the peace agreement. The peace deal dictates that major towns and civilian centers be demilitarized, civilians be disarmed, and all former rival forces be united, but that has only partly been done. The resignation to many is a sign of frustration following the slow progress in the implementation of the September 2018 peace deal. Mabrior was appointed in March together with other ministers in a new unity government. However, formation of the new government is not yet complete. The peace parties are yet to agree on the allocation of states, and the parliament is yet to be instituted.
And that report there in South Sudan finally brings this news bulletin to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, you can also log on our website on africa.tv. Many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.